Let's talk about this first story. Joe Biden just addressed gun violence, and I'm really pissed off, guys. Biden calls for ban on assault weapons and new red flag laws. The president said the measures were not about taking away anyone's guns. He also acknowledged that Congress might not come to a consensus, even as the nation grieves the victims of several mass shootings. Okay, let me just say this. I hope you fail, Joe Biden. I hope you fail because you are a liar. You are manipulating people. And to anybody who liked what Joe Biden had to say, I ask you a simple question. What is an assault weapon? What was he talking about banning?
Bayonets?
That's Matt Walsh's next documentary. What is?
That's actually a good idea.
Good idea.
No, that's we're doing that.
Great
one.
idea.
Okay, what is it? Like, nobody knows what it is. Okay, what is a woman? Nobody knows. And this segment is brought to you by Assault Rifles.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's
10% off.
That was dead on, though. That was really good.
I mean, if they do, what is an assault weapon? That actually is a really good idea because they don't have a definition. And this is what really bothers me is when he lies. The closest approximation is assault rifle. Assault rifles haven't been, you can't manufacture, I could be wrong about all this, but I'm pretty sure you can't manufacture them after 1986 for civilian use. In order for a civilian to buy one, it's got to be pre-1986. And it takes you about a year to get because you've got to get tax stamp, fingerprint, you've got to file, it's through the NFA, so you got to file ATF forms. I can't do it. I'll tell you why. I am too busy. So the amount of work required to actually jump through the hoops to get an NFA item, an NFA regulated item, National Firearms Act, is just prohibitive for even someone like me, unless I wanted to take time off work so I can go down to the sheriff's department, get my fingerprints and all that. I'll tell you what the craziest thing is. First of all, red flag laws are insane. And this, I got to give a shout out to Maj Touré and Black Guns Matter when he says all gun control is racist.
That's right.
What do you think these police will do with red flag laws? With a red flag law, it doesn't matter if you even have a gun. It gives them powers to violate your Fourth Amendment rights. They will come to your house and say, we're searching a warrant on a red flag. And the guy's going to be like, but I don't have a gun. Well, we don't know that for sure. Don't give the police these powers. But more importantly, what really triggered me, I was triggered.
Well said.
I was reeing and
It was pretty bad.
swinging my arms. Get this gun control off my country.
It's really bad.
When he said he wanted to end the 72-hour release for background checks. For those that don't know, if you want to buy a gun, you have to get a background check.
I do. Let me just write this down.
Write this down.
I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, you can't get one.
Oh, boy,
forget it.
The response time is 72 hours for police. So
gosh.
that's
Oh, right,
it's
right,
the
right.
same as
Yeah.
the.
Well, you
which
can't
is a
get
red
one anyway.
flag.
So now they want to ban body armor. Check it out. You go to the store, you walk up, and you say, I'd like to purchase this weapon. Why? For my own personal reasons, to defend my home, for sport, or to protect this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. Whatever it is your fancy, right? It's your right. You got to fill out a NICS form. It's not that big a deal to fill out the form. Then they submit it, and you have to wait. They're running a background check. The first time I bought a gun, they told me, you are delayed, and you will have to come back. We'll let you know when you're cleared. 72 hours later, I got a phone call saying, you are now cleared. I went in, and I was able to pick up the weapon. Turns out, they never actually did the background check. My understanding is that it went long, and so my rights as an American citizen under the Second Amendment, I get to take the weapon. If they get rid of that restriction on the government, you're going to have federal agents. They're going to say, we just don't like this James O'Keefe guy. We'll do his background check when we get time. And then 3 months goes by, and you're like, where's my background check? And they're like, we're working on it. That's what Joe Biden wants to get rid of. That would give the government the ability to effectively ban all guns at a whim, whenever they so decide. And of course, they'll give you every excuse. They'll say, we're just backlogged and so understaffed. Sorry. You know what they did with marijuana back in the day? What they did was you needed a tax stamp if you wanted to buy it. Then they stopped issuing stamps, effectively making it illegal, bypassing people's constitutional rights. This is what they will do. Joe Biden wants universal background checks on all sales, including private sales, which means you can't even transfer a weapon to a family member. If you're, say you're Jim Bob and Billie Jean out in the mountains of West Virginia, and you're like, I'd like to transfer this weapon to you because I'm leaving, and we got critters and bears or whatever. Can't do it. Got to drive to an FFL, and you got to fill out the background check form, and then oopsie, the feds have decided they're just not going to do it. That's how they ban guns. So no Joe Biden. Screw you. You're a liar. I'm
Is he
pissed.
more serious when he's screaming or whispering? Can you guys tell the difference?
I don't know.
Screaming.
Do you notice he'll start with the yell and then he'll end
Yes.
with the whisper? Hey, where are you guys? Because you're racist.
Great.
He's doing that ET. He always gets real low at the end. Come on, Jack.
That begging sound. He begs.
Yeah, it does.
He got it from Obama. And so does Beto O'Rourke. He does
It's like Owen Wilson is training him. I mean, come on. We're not doing the gun thing.
Yeah.
Owen's a bad dude.
He has to get real low with it.
Wow, I'm not doing it.
I think it's actually the reason he whispers is because when he loses where he's going and he can't think, it gives him a justification for why he pauses.
Yeah.
So he'll be like, we gotta ban the guns. Like it's like I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I got it. And then he says something low, so it's like the pause was supposed to be drama as opposed. It was dramatic instead of just sad.
He can't emphatically say what he's saying because he's reading it and he doesn't really believe it or really understand it. So then he appeals to tone. He'll try and do a begging tone like this.
Yeah.
Because he thinks maybe the tone will get them. Because Obama did that. He used to do that a lot. It was really insidious.
But Obama was a better actor.
Way
You can probably
better.
speak to this
Yeah.
point. Like when Biden speaks, it's just like, wow, he's an awful actor, and he has no grounding in principles or morals or any
Terrible
ethics.
actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And, but he can't muster up the delivery.
Yeah, he
you
has
know,
no
like
delivery.
Obama could. Obama
And
could muster up the delivery.
As a white guy, I can't do an impression of
That's right.
a complete
Still not.
idiot.
Yeah.
So
yes, we would discourage that.
We can't do the Obama one. Can't
Not
do
the
Eric
Obama one.
Adams either.
Oh man, Joe Biden. Whenever he gets mad, it's so obviously performative. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro, I can tell you're not really indignant.
Man or Jack, either one.
Jack.
Man or
Ah,
Jack.
Jack.
It's like the fakest. You're phoning it in, dude.
Yeah, he throws his hands up a lot
Mm-hmm.
of.
Remember when he got mad at that guy who was a union worker, who
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, "You're trying to ban my guns," and then he got really angry at him, started yelling at him.
Oh,
He punched the guy. He'll let go up and he.
Yeah.
Tried to jab him.
Yeah, Joe Biden's a bad guy.
Not
Yeah,
nice.
he's a bad guy who hangs out with some bad boys.
That's right.
He's a mean fella.
Wow.
Never
And
really
he's
liked
so
that guy.
unremarkable too.
I didn't
like,
even- yeah.
somebody asked me recently. They were just like, "What would you ask Joe Biden if you could interview him?" And as a journalist, I really pondered on that. I was just like, "Man, what would I ask Joe Biden?" And I really couldn't muster up a good, meaningful question because I feel like his record is so unremarkable and so uninteresting that I feel like I would just be better off trolling him at this point in his life, even though that might be considered a little bit mean.
I'd never heard of him until he ran against Obama, and I was like, "This is the establishment character they're using to run against
There you
Obama."
go.
More than Hillary, I was like, "Who is this weird
that was-
old
yeah.
dude?"
That was
then
what
I
they
found
thought.
out he was a plagiarist from the
Yeah.
'80s and had to resign from this presidential run,
Yeah,
basically in
Forgot
'88.
about that.
The idea with Biden was, will America elect a younger black man? So they were like, let's get an older white dude and put him together so we can try and maximize our potential. And then it's funny because McCain went with Sarah Palin, right? They were like, let's try a woman. And it was just like, yo, get the pandering out of there. It's
Yeah.
not helping. Although I think Sarah Palin was way better than McCain was.
Oh,
so
definitely.
Easily.
She definitely helped his campaign for whatever it was, but he loses anyway.
McCain kept saying, "My friend." He'd keep calling people "my friend" all of a sudden as soon as he started campaigning. I was like, "These aren't your friends, dude."
She's like, my
I
friend,
don't think they really like you.
You got to blow up a bunch of people in the Middle East. And I was just like, I don't want to vote for that guy.
No,
and then Obama was like, I'm going to end the wars. And I was like, I'll vote for that
That's
guy.
a good
And-
Obama.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he did, he was like, I'm going to blow up these kids. He's like, I am president and I blow up kids. That's
You
what he
can't
did.
steal. You're stealing that impression from a black person. You're taking somebody's job. You can't do that, Tim.
Yeah, come on, Tim.
Well,
Come on,
actually,
man.
hold on.
Come on, Jack.
I'm mixed race, and mixed race is the smallest minority in the country, so I'm actually the most oppressed. So
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
You write that.
Apologize.
You can write down. Make sure you
Take a
you
note.
take note of that.
I love how they're listing the, it's like the first openly gay black press. They don't do that for any of the crappy jobs, right? They're not like the first genderqueer, ambiguous, ambidextrous janitor. No one
Yeah,
gives a
no.
crap about any of the mundane jobs at the White
It'd be
House.
great if they could like mop with two hands at once.
That'd be great. Yeah, really useful.
That's why, yeah.
Truly,
That'd be great.
I am the
friendly.
best at what I do.
Super useful.
And to be fair, it's probably because they're already a bunch of trans-abled, demi janitors or whatever.
Right.
But I think it's a fair point to be like, we got to respect the trades, and
Yeah.
and our society just literally doesn't do it. So if they did come out, I'd actually respect it more if they were like, our school hired the first gay janitor. I'd be like, oh, all right. But when they're like this
Keep
high
an eye
rank-
on them. Keep an eye on them. But
Yeah.
when they come out and they're like this high, they say like this is the first official or whatever, and then they ignore the Republican ones. It's like wasn't like the first Republican a black member of Congress like in the 1800s, and for the Democrats it was like 1992 or something like that.
yeah.
I thought when Tulsi Gabbard was running for president in this last cycle, and they were like, well, we can't cast her as the role because we need a woman of color. I was like, okay, she is a woman of color. The shark has jumped. Like we just lost it. The
shark has jumped?
Yes, the shark has jumped.
Everybody remembers when the shark jumped over the Fonz.
That's
remember?
right.
It was in
Yes,
Happy Days. Yeah,
exactly.
apparently that's when the show's
That's
gone
where it
too
started.
far. It's lost the plot. It's gone like
Right.
If you wanted a woman of color, you had a woman of color. You pretended like she wasn't a woman of color because you want an authoritarian in, is what you're saying, and you
Right.
just want to use the color as an obfuscation.
Not enough color.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. They're like, we need more representation from marginalized voices, and then Candace Owens is like, I'm going to do a popular show, and they go, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out. No, you're a white supremacist. Or Larry Elder. It's just like, no. What they it's funny because they throw all these racial slurs at, like Candace Owens or Larry Elder, calling. I'm not gonna repeat the words they use, but they'll call them like the token or whatever that Republicans will rely on,
Right.
and then literally all they do is that they bring about these marginalized voices who just repeat their own opinions for them. It's funny because you can actually have like Candace Owens argue with someone, but then you'll have these like diversity candidates for these public jobs just espousing mainstream opinions as if they're being puppeted by these corporations. That's them doing exactly what they're claiming the right is doing. Projection it's you know what? I really hate saying it because it's like the 800th time we'll have said it, but they project everything. That's it.
Yeah, it's like why am I looking up to like Candace Owens and Larry Elder to like speak up for like for white men really?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's really what happened though. Like I was like, why am I getting why do I feel like Candace Owens has my back more than the president or somebody? And they'll go, well, they're just a white supremacist. I'm like, what is happening right now? A black person could be a white supremacist.
It's
Incredible.
I think they're conflating it with Roman supremacy. I brought this up a couple times. They call it white supremacy, make it a race thing, but like the Roman culture enslaved most of the world that they could get their hands on. They built the Roman Catholic Church to mentally enslave people, and like it's predominated our society. This Roman Catholicism, this Roman. Now it's like the British government with their banks, their international bank. Like it's all kind of
Now we're talking. I like
residual
this.
of the Romans.
Now we're talking. Let's get
Seamus
started.
Seamus is sitting at home and he's going,
Oh, Ian, Seamus, I got you.
I love it.
Defend yourself.
Seamus is not here to push back on the religious stuff. I don't know about all that, but I see what you're saying, right? The Roman Empire falls, then you get the European empires, the various nations.
The Holy Roman Empire. That was like Germanic.
But then you end up with colonization from a variety of European powers after the empire falls. So ultimately, I don't think they have any idea what they're talking about. I think they're just saying things that use morsels of truth to manipulate you and so they can gain power.
Yeah, racism.
Right. They know that we all don't like racism. They know that the average American does not like racism. So they use the fear of you being called a racist. It worked for a while. I don't think it's working so much anymore.
No.
Yeah, people aren't having it.
It
That's
happened
true.
in 2016. I was trying to explain Hillary's email dump to WikiLeaks to my friend, and he was like, it's just your white privilege. And I didn't know how to defend myself or
Right,
respond. I was
right.
like,
Can't.
I don't think so. I'm just
I look
reading
at
it.
You felt yourself.
I felt
like,
so dirty. I was like, I don't
have any
think I'm
money on
welcome
me.
in LA anymore.
Yeah,
I was
bro.
like, how can I rectify?
There's a real simple thing that I live by, and it's just if you don't know, ask. So if someone's like, this is your white privilege, I'll go, oh, what is it?
What's that?
Yeah.
And then they'll say something like, because you're white, X, Y, and Z. And then ask them again, be like, oh, what do you think about poor people? Like, what do you think about poor white people? And just keep asking them questions to make them answer. The Socratic method, essentially. And then eventually, when they break their own logic, they're just like, I don't know. And, it's, I don't know. What do you mean by that? And then you lightly argue with them. Be like, I don't know about that one.
He was like, it's her time, Ian. It's her time. And I was like, it's your
Hillary?
white privilege.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that have to do with her? I thought it was like, is it my male privilege or wait?
Well,
then-
yeah.
I digress.
But here's what I do. Times have definitely changed now, where we've bifurcated so much politically that I don't know if these methods work. But when I would have people say stuff like to me, like about Hillary, I'd be like, "What do you mean by it's her time?" And they'll be like, well, Hillary's been in government for so long, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, do you think that makes her a good president? Like, do you think she'll be a good president? And then just have them ask them these things. And then once they start getting angry the way, like, because I've experienced that too, I always just be like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to make you angry.
Depends what you mean
Like,
by the
and
word.
then they got to calm
word.
down.
Yes.
What do you
Yeah.
mean by the word? Word.
But the one
Define word.
The one thing I always like is like if you're asking questions because someone's making these outrageous statements that don't mean anything, and then they get really, really angry, you just say, I don't understand why you're being so mean, or I don't understand why you're yelling at me.
Yeah,
Just-
rather than continue to try to drive home what I was talking about the emails, I should have started asking about his feelings and stuff. That's a
So
better tactic.
if someone's using if someone's emotionally enraged, they're not going to think straight.
Yeah.
Their logical centers of their minds are shutting down. The emotions taking over, and now you want to ask them like, "Yo, are you all right? Like, are you mad? I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't mean
why
to
are
get
you
mad."
being mean?
That's right. It's
Yeah.
the same
Why are you being so mean?
psychological tactic that you want to use with children. You know, because like you
Right.
have to use child psychology to deal with children, and oftentimes adults behave like children. So you want to use the same techniques of a psychologist that deals with children to deal with adults that are behaving like children.
Right.
And I know that this is true, not because I have children, but because I saw a TikTok about it, and it made a lot of sense to me.
And also reverse psychology.
Yes.
So when someone
Yes.
says they want to vote for, Joe Biden, you go, well, I already voted for Joe Biden and you disagree with me. And then they'll go, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'm actually voting for Trump. It's like, all right. And that works
Right.
too. No, that never works. But that I love that technically in some areas it literally did work. There's that Babylon Bee joke where they said, ingenious move, Trump comes out in support of impeachment so that Democrats must oppose.
Yeah.
Good. It's really good.
Because that's what they did. Trump could come out and be like, pancakes are great. And they'd be like, pancakes are terrible. They're racist. The racist history of
the
pancakes.
problem with gluten.
Right.
Yeah, the problem with gluten.
There's 400 genders. There's so many.
Yes.
We're all polyamorous. We're all fluid.
Yeah.
You're like,
They say, sir, we're fluid. We're so fluid.
And then
They
they'd
say,
come
yeah.
out and be like, we're all straight now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just want to say you're like 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 with the impressions.
Thank
Like,
you.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
good.
not keeping track or anything, but I think you're 4 for 4.
Can you
or
tell
5
what
for
I
5.
did in my room growing up
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all my weight shame? I just was like, well, I guess I'll talk to myself.
Did you do it in a mirror?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Jim Carrey did that a lot.
All right, 6 for 6.
That was good, but I just don't like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I like him these days.
What kind of millennial are you, Tim? I thought you were a millennial with the rest of us. You don't like Jim
Millennials like
Carrey?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
He's like a self-righteous, arrogant guy.
He
Well,
spoke
now
out
he
against
is.
Will
I mean,
Oh, no, I
his
think
brain's
that-
been broken.
He did
but
speak out
in
against
the 90s.
yeah.
He meant a lot to us.
Bruce Almighty was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they did Evan Almighty, and I was like, no,
Well,
that's good.
I mean, Dumb and Dumber's my favorite movie of all time.
course.
It's just God.
I thought Ace
amazing.
Ventura was definitely a home run.
Yeah, that was good.
Nothing had
Yeah.
come out like it
Great.
up to that point.
Cable guy.
how are we how are we talking about Jim Carrey?
Well, he talked smack about Will Smith when he popped Chris Rock at
Yeah.
the Oscars,
Yeah.
and he was
Good.
like came out publicly
Yeah.
and was like, it's
Yeah. He's.
derided it basically. It was nice to see a celebrity do that or an actor do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I prefer is like, I like people who are willing to be like, wow, I didn't know that. That's about it. And so like
Yeah.
seeing some of these celebrities come out, talking big, acting like they know everything, and they don't, and they're making everything worse is frustrating. Because the way I describe it is like, imagine you're trying to fix an engine. Actually, we talked about this with one of our progressive guests. And then you've got a guy standing next to you yelling that you've got to you got to put the engine fluid and the blinker fluid in. You're like, that's not a thing. There's no blink. Yeah, I saw it. I know you're insane. Okay, we need. And then they all vote. We vote. We pour the water in that valve, and you're like, oh, you're gonna break the engine, and they do. And then you're like, I needed that engine too, man.
Along those lines, last night we were talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. I want to touch on it really quick because I said some stuff. I said like just a couple of drunk cokeheads beating each other up, and people were like, Ian, Johnny Depp wasn't beating her up. I didn't really follow the trial. It probably did come off kind of ignorant to speak with that kind of authority, and Amber Heard is definitely a liar.
Oh,
so I want to
yeah.
get that on record. She said that she donated money to charity when she had actually pledged the money.
Yeah.
And then when they caught her on the stand lying under oath, they're like, you said you pledged it, but you didn't donate it. She's like, so did you donate it? I pledged it, yeah. I pledged it. That's not what I'm
pledged the game.
asking. I'm asking if you donated it. I pledged it. I pledged it. Yeah, I pledged it. She was like, I use those words interchangeably.
And she keeps a
No, it's
permanent
not.
pouty face. I don't know if you know. She's just the whole
That was
the
rough.
whole trial, man.
She's a.
Sad.
It was fun.
I don't want to talk too
it was,
crappy about people, but that was.
It was fun. He's fat. He was fascinating to watch.
I thut you were gonna say he was fat.
Yeah.
He had
I
to
was-
gain
I-
weight.
I
from
was
the
gonna
alcohol.
agree.
That's all I took from it.
No,
so
I,
fat. He was so fat.
I was gonna agree because I was
Can't say
like,
fat
he was
anymore.
looking a little thick, you know. I
It's
saw him
the
playing
alcohol,
guitar, and I
yeah.
was like,
But
Got
he
a
would
little
do these like
Yeah.
20-minute stories to get to this crazy thing she did. He'd be like, and I woke up in the morning and there's a light dew outside. I saw a small injured crow that I knitted a small cashmere sweater.
Johnny
And
scissor
that's
hands over
when I
here.
realized Miss Heard had taken a crap into my laptop. You're like, just get to the crap in the laptop thing.
Exciting.
He's got to build
6
suspense,
hours,
man.
Yeah.
You think he'll be in like his career will have a resurgence? I think him and
No,
Will
he's-
Smith should be
May-
put into some maybe
Yes,
show.
absolutely. And it's like maybe it should be space pirates
Oh yeah.
and aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
'Cause,
dope.
You know,
He was off playing a live show in London
Yeah.
when the verdict came out.
he is like
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow at this point.
He is.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he's in
He's
he's in
back,
Brando
baby.
territory. I don't know if I'm the only one that remembers how the trajectory of Brando was also a very kind of a central figure in Johnny Depp's life. I think in many ways he wanted to be Brando.
Okay.
And I think that Depp is pretty much at the Brando point in his career because Brando had to go on trial for his son's. Yeah, there was I think there's some sort of murder trial that his son was involved in, and Brando had to take the stand. And in this weird way, Depp is in the same position that he's in. I think he's in Brando territory. He's never going to recover.
He was also banging Amber Heard, Brando. So I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
To
where
his
it's
credit,
I gotta,
yes,
gotta
of course.
follow.
All right. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.